The second year of my strategic marriage to my lifelong rival, my dad went bankrupt. I decisively took the $20 million exit purse Adrian's mom threw at me and ran. Later, he caught me at St. Ambrose. The report on the counter screamed 7-week pregnancy. The normally cold, aloof crown prince's eyes flushed red. You took the money, you're taking the baby, can't you take me too? When Adrian came home from his client dinner, I was already asleep. The man dragged me out from under the quilt, tilted my chin up, and tried to kiss me. I was annoyed to death. I raised a knee to kick him. Adrian, the word bastard never left my mouth. My gaze landed on the ruby solitaire ring glinting in his palm. My swagger snapped off mid-breath. I was instantly awake. That medieval royal stone you liked last month, I had someone in Europe track it down for you. Adrian undid the top buttons of his shirt, his sculpted collarbones and the hard lines of his abs peeked through. He pressed against me, nothing but suggestion in every move. Want it? He twirled the ring and murmured by my ear. Well, duh. $1 million rock we're talking about. I looped my arms around his neck, batting my lashes like a doll. Hubby, how would you like to play? He sneered, tossed me onto the mattress, and pinned me down. Money grubber. Obviously. If I weren't, I wouldn't have married you. It wasn't that I was born greedy, our marriage was always about cash. There wasn't even the faintest trace of friendship between Adrian and me, let alone love. We'd been lifelong rivals since kindergarten. We compared report cards as kids. We compared deals as adults. Put us in one room and we'd start a war. But fate loves a joke. 2 years ago Dad's company hit a wall, and only Adrian's father offered a lifeline. Naturally, the old man wanted interest. I had to become a sterling daughter-in-law in a strategic marriage. Adrian and I were both thunderstruck, but Daddy's money kids don't get choices. So we wed. Before the ceremony Adrian had looked dead serious. We draw a line in the sand, keep this union pure and simple. And now? Words failed me, I whimpered and pushed at him. Didn't you say we'd stay pure? Adrian gave my cheek a calm kiss, voice husky, next time I'll buy you emeralds. Fine. Let's not be pure, then. 3 morning. Adrian was already dressed for work, sharp black suit, tall frame, face glowing with satisfaction. I rubbed my sore lower back and wanted to murder him. He gloated, if you're too tired, skip the office. It's not like you'll land any contracts anyway. Who's he looking down on? I rolled my eyes, but I couldn't deny the truth. My family's company had been sinking for years, each quarter worse than the last. Our annual profit probably didn't cover one handbag Adrian bought me. I've never had a head for business. Truthfully, playing sterling at home wasn't bad. It even let me sponsor a few extra kids. I was mulling that over when my mother-in-law showed up. To inform me the sterling gig was cancelled. John is bankrupt, you no longer qualify as my daughter-in-law. Divorce my son. For well, damn, Dad's company really had capsized. My phone drowned in collection texts. I stared, speechless. Mother-in-law, you know Adrian only married you for the merger. Now you're worthless, so do the smart thing and leave. Still silence. I'll give you $5 million for emotional damages. Adrian needs a new wife. I stayed mute. $10 million. I twisted the ring on my finger, said nothing. $15 million. Me, Mom, actually Adrian and she finally lost it. $20 million. Me, deal. Ma'am. I mean, come on, Adrian's liquid assets totaled maybe $20 million. This beat staying sterling by miles. I sprinted upstairs to pack, lightning fast. Even the housekeeper gawked. Young madam, aren't you going to tell the young master? I waved her off, let's keep this teensy thing from him. Please, teenage Adrian's biggest dream was seeing me penniless and groveling. If he found out I'd gone bust, he'd mock me forever. Let alone if he discovered my $20 million escape fund. I stuffed my suitcase faster and faster, never noticing the figure behind me, until a male voice cut in, "What exactly are you hiding?" 5. His icy tone made the antique vase slip from my hands. It shattered into powder. Crap, he's not making me pay for that, is he? I retreated, hands up. You startled me, I didn't break it on purpose. 2 years of marriage, and Adrian's still my rival everywhere but in bed. Eye for an eye, sip his tea and he'll send me a Venmo request for half. Today I'm broke, I can't reimburse him. Don't you dare charge me, I blurted. Adrian didn't even glance at the Qing dynasty shards. He stepped over the razor-sharp porcelain, face blank, always the sign his patience had snapped. Sure enough, he caged me against the wall and growled, "What are you hiding? Talk." No way I'd confess I was bolting with his 20 million. I flashed him my sweetest smile and petted his chest. "Mom and I are going on a getaway, but I was afraid you'd say no." He arched a brow. "That's it? What else?" I giggled, voice honey thick. "Hubby, you'll let me go, won't you?" "Humph, if he refuses, I'll knock him out cold." Adrian studied me, the storm in his eyes slowly calmed. He cupped my cheek, palm warm, tone back to lazy teasing, "Depends on your performance." His hand slid south, message crystal clear. I gritted my teeth, "We're out of foil packets." He shook a little box, already stocked up. "You're a Fortune 500 titan, you actually stopped for condoms on your way home?" I hissed, "Can we skip it? Maybe have a spiritual connection?" He chuckled, "Then forget the trip." Knew it. Adrian turned to leave. I grabbed him and leaned up to kiss him. "Then be gentle," I said. He laughed. Deal. Facts prove a man's mouth is a lying ghost. We fooled around from dusk till midnight. After Adrian carried me to the bath and fell into a deep sleep, I felt as if another vertebra in my waist had snapped. I wanted nothing more than to pass out, but the night outside was thick and black. If I didn't run now, when would I? I signed the divorce papers in one brisk motion, snapped a photo for my mother-in-law, and tiptoed out. The second I cleared the Sterling estate, my phone pinged. "Your account ending in 3024 has received $20 million. Sweet. 6. My celebration didn't last. 3 hours later, the first express train to the next province had barely left the station when Adrian's latest messages flashed on my screen. "Luna, you're divorcing me? Are you out of your mind? 30 minutes. Get your ass back here. Was the jewelry I bought you last time not enough? I'll get something else. Emerald? Diamonds? Pebbles? Say something, come on, sweetheart, just come home, okay? I won't touch you tonight, baby." My eyes nearly popped out of his WhatsApp avalanche. The guy had to be drunk, calling me sweetheart, baby? TSK, TSK, TSK. In 2 years of marriage, I'd always been the sweet-tongued pleader. At last the tables had turned? I typed smugly, "Not coming back. Catch me if you can." Then I deleted him. TSK, TSK, TSK. Sky high, Emperor far, let's see you drag me home. 7. Of course Adrian wouldn't chase me in person. His temper was too big, too quick. We were lifelong rivals. No way he'd swallow his pride and come after me. Minutes later, a cold string of new messages arrived. "Fine. Divorce it is. Better hope I never see you again." I sent a smiling sticker, "Sure thing." A few days later, my grin evaporated, because, "Sis, can you lend me some cash?" Serena was stunned on the other end. "Didn't your ex-mother-in-law hand you 20 million? All spent," I said. "Serena, then come home. I'm hitting a party tonight, meet me there. She sent me a location. Short on cash, short on cents, I raced straight back. The grand ballroom looked like Versailles. Front and center stood a man in a black tuxedo, posture regal, eyes striking. Apart from Adrian, who else? I spun to flee, but he glanced over just then, stem of crystal in hand. Our gazes collided. In that instant his eyes narrowed. Even across the room, I could see the tendons on the back of his clenched fist. Was he going to storm over and punch me? I took 2 unconscious steps backward, ready to sprint, when he looked away. He turned, clinked glasses with another girl, chatted, smiled, no longer acknowledging me. See? He won't touch a hair, Serena said, slipping an arm around my shoulders and steering me deeper. Adrian's crowd hasn't mentioned you once. It's like you never existed. His mother's lining up fresh prospects again. Your marriage was pure strategy, zero feelings, why would he cling? Serena's logic sounded airtight. She hauled me in search of fresh eye candy, giddy and newly divorced from that unmelting iceberg Caden, the world her hunting ground. In my ear she rapid-fired stats, height 188 centimeters, 18-pack, age 18, like a tongue twister. My brain scattered. My heart felt sour and achy, especially when Adrian bent his head, smiling softly as he spoke to a girl in a mint gown. So gentle it made my temples throb. I was still dazed when Serena suddenly clutched me. Sis, we're screwed. Huh? She dodged Caden's arctic stare and whispered, come to the hospital with me. She hugged her abdomen. Thinking it was merely bad cramps, I hooked her elbow and headed out. See? I told you to quit iced coffee. Cramps every period. But in the dead of night at St. Joseph's, her period had skipped town, and a baby moved in. I stared at the lab slip, eyes bulging. 7 weeks pregnant. You only divorced 8 weeks ago. Some birth control, Serena. 9 Serena sat on a hallway bench, clutching my hand. Babe, you have to help me. Caden can't know. His family's richer than mine, and that unfeeling block of ice will snatch the baby. I've lived 20-odd years for this little one, no one is taking him away, wah. She wept like rain on pear blossoms. I listened in a daze. Didn't you say you never managed to seduce Caden? She nodded. Right, I never seduced him. Post-divorce he seduced me, total accident. Before she could ramble on, urgent footsteps echoed from the far end of the corridor. Clack clack clack, closer, closer. Serena snapped her mouth shut. 2 6-foot-something hunks arrived panting at the OBGYN doors at midnight. Caden, Serena, are you okay? His face was its usual ice field, even flushed from jogging, he looked unapproachable. No wonder she divorced him. By contrast, Adrian had no such reservations. Still alive, are we? What did you break this time? Scammed somebody's cash and got beaten up? He grabbed for me, the exam slip slipped from my fingers and fluttered to the floor. Serena flinched, jumped, and stomped on the patient's name line just in time. Both men lowered their gaze. Bold black letters jumped out. 7-week pregnancy test. Adrian's head snapped up, his normally proud eyes instantly bloodshot. Sweetheart, you're pregnant? Clearly, he wasn't as easy to fool as Adrian. He looked at Serena. Serena, is Luna the one who's pregnant? Serena picked up the lab report, tore off the top half without the slightest hesitation, and shoved the bottom half into my arms. She didn't bother giving Caden a pleasant look. Duh. You think it's me? You think you're some crack shot who scores on the first try? Don't jinx it, he really was a crack shot. 1 shot, direct hit. A calculating glint flashed in Caden's narrowed eyes. He scooped Serena up in a bridal carry, his face calm. It's fine. We'll go home and talk, slowly. Serena's face went white, she waved frantically at me. Girl, save me, save me. I wanted to, but my hands were tied. Because Adrian had already grabbed me and was bawling his eyes out. Luna, you took the money. You took the kid. Can't you take me too, wah? Me. This misunderstanding had gotten way out of hand. 11-eyed meant to explain everything to Adrian on the drive. But then Serena called. She was whispering like a thief in the night. Do not tell your husband the truth. He and Caden are business partners, they're tight. He'll spin around and spill it to Caden right away. Help me out, keep it under wraps for a while, please? I ground my teeth, lowering my voice until it was almost a breath. How the hell am I supposed to hide this? I snuck a glance at Adrian beside me. After taking a call, he'd calmed down. His eyes were shut now, lost in thought. His fists were clenched so tight his knuckles were white, as if he were wrestling with something huge. He didn't even look at me. Serena wheedled, please, hey, Caden, what are you doing? See, calm down, no kissing. Don't touch me, the rest was definitely NSFW. I hung up instantly. Some best friend, choosing a guy over me. And now I had to figure out how this circus would end. The car rolled to a stop in front of the villa I still shared, on paper, with Adrian. I reached for the door handle, but a tug on my wrist yanked me back. When my head cleared, a blazing diamond tennis bracelet already circled my wrist. In the hush and darkness, the stones threw off crazy sparks. Adrian rubbed my wrist, his fingertips warm. When he spoke, his voice was low, the sound of a man who's just made an enormous decision. This is the bracelet you said you wanted the other day. I was going to give it to you the morning after that night, but you ran. Doesn't matter. You're back now. He gave my cheek a gentle pinch, tenderness pooling in his eyes. Don't run off again, okay? Oh, fatherhood had turned him into a giant marshmallow. Too bad the kid isn't yours. I was stuck on the horns of the dilemma when he leaned in and kissed my cheek, sincere and earnest. Honey, promise me, all right? I'll buy you diamonds for the rest of your life. Diamonds? Me, sure thing, hubby. 12, I swear I'm not a money grubber. It's just my daily burn rate is a little high. My freelance illustration checks can't keep pace. Adrian had sniffed out my weak spot. He no longer kept me on the short allowance leash. Every few days he'd park a ridiculous wad of cash in my account. Gifts poured in nonstop. At its most insane, I merely lingered for a couple of seconds on some haute couture gown and a fashion spread. Next day the whole look arrived from the label's atelier. He was getting sweeter by the day. Even bulldozed his mother on his own so I wouldn't have to deal with her. And I grew more jittery by the hour, because every bit of this kindness was meant for the golden air he thought I carried. Inside me, though, there was nothing but hot pot, malatang, and crayfish, arg. Where was the baby supposed to come from? I yelled at the ceiling, itching to haul Serena in for a reckoning. But Caden had her under house arrest, she couldn't step outside. She was as useless as I was. Over the phone I listened while she bossed the maids around, sending virtual gifts to some male streamer with glee. Caden, for reasons unknown, had flipped from ice cold to permissive overnight, bankrolling her hobby of tipping other men as long as she stayed put. Anything to keep her happy. Stop the games, sis, tell me what I'm supposed to do. Serena had been navigating a sea of hot guys since we were teens and had devoured every trashy romance ever written. She was way quicker on her feet. She drawled, easy, just produce a baby. How, exactly? She, make one tonight. I stared at the foil packets still stacked on the nightstand. I got up and tossed the whole pile into the trash. I had a plan. 13 that evening, before Adrian came home, I changed into a scandalous white cut-out lace negligee. I dabbed on perfume, did my makeup to kill, and the instant he walked through the door I threw myself at him, soft and inviting. "Honey, are you tired? Wanna go to bed?" Adrian looked at me, desire flickering in his eyes, unmistakable. Oh yeah, this was going to work. The very first time we'd ever slept together I'd been wearing a tiny sexy mini dress. Adrian had had a lot to drink, he stared forever, then dragged me to bed. We'd only been married a short while, still adversaries, and I'd struggled, unwilling to give in. He'd kissed my earlobe and dropped a lazy bombshell, "One mansion, yours." I'd stopped fighting. After that he seemed addicted, whenever he wanted it he'd shower me with jewels. Since my return, though, he hadn't touched me once. I watched his gaze blur and rubbed silently against him again. "Baby, maybe we could," his Adam's apple bobbed. He drew a ragged breath and pulled me off. "I think, this isn't right." "Me? After all the times we'd done it? What could be wrong now?" He didn't explain, he practically fled into the bedroom and stayed under a freezing shower forever, never laying a hand on me. I messaged Serena, "Is he afraid of hurting the baby?" She answered after ages, "Maybe." A moment later she pinged again, "Don't worry, light strokes won't hurt." You've tested that theory?" She went quiet. Classic Serena, guy first, friend second. I hurled the phone onto the bed and stared at the tall silhouette behind the frosted glass door. Then I charged in, wrapped my arms around his lean waist, and whispered, "Adrian, are you scared you'll hurt the kid? Taking it easy will be just fine." His voice was strained, he stood with his back to me, breathing hard. "No," he said. If it wasn't for the baby, then what on earth was it for? How had he suddenly turned into some kind of ascetic monk? Adrian turned around, wrapped my barely dressed self in a bath towel, scooped me up, and set me on the edge of the bed. He knelt on one knee, dark bangs falling loose, water droplets still clinging to the tips and sliding onto the reddened corners of his eyes, making him look endearingly puppy-like. He lifted his gaze to me and said with absolute seriousness, "I think you were right, we should take it slow. Build feelings, not profits." Me? When did I ever say that? Oh, right, I remember. The day I left, to douse some of his anger, I'd sprinkled a whole letter across the page. The gist: don't blame me for walking away, we never had love to begin with. Our marriage was for gain, and so is our divorce. I hope you find someone you can actually love. I'd written that on a whim. And he'd taken it as gospel. 14 Adrian really did launch his slow-motion romance campaign. He stopped falling asleep with his arms clamped around me every night. In the mornings he carved out time to eat breakfast with me. At noon he sacrificed his lunch break so we could check out pretty cafes for aesthetic meals. Evenings meant strolling the riverside together, watching the skyline, walking, snapping photos. We'd grown up side by side, he knew every one of my likes, every last habit. Soon I realized that when his hand brushed a strand of hair from my face, the man standing under the night's neon glare could make my heart pound loud enough for me to hear. Serena said I was falling for him. Me, fall for Adrian? The thought sent a wave of panic through me. But I don't believe in feelings. My family shattered when I was little. Mom and Dad married for money, split soon after, and each remarried in no time. Over the years their partners rotated like a slideshow. I was always the extra. No matter how tearfully I begged them not to dump me, they still parked me at grandma's, or nana's, or alone inside that cavernous villa. Only when I was useful for some strategic marriage did they come looking. So I grew up a smart mouth, slick with sweet talk, obsessed with cash and pricey things, done with love long ago. If my own parents couldn't like me, whoever would? I crush the morning note Adrian wrote, toss it in the trash. Forget it, I tell Serena. A business deal's a business deal, better not catch feelings. 15 easy to say, but Adrian's texts keep popping up. Babe, whatcha doing? Did you miss me? Let's go out tonight. Found a killer rooftop barbecue spot, exactly your type. My heart jackhammers as I read. Yet I keep chanting, don't like him, don't. He's my lifelong rival, he's only like this because I'm carrying his kid. No falling, no falling, falling means losing, and losing is death. The more I forbid it, the more his face barges into my mind, flickering nonstop. My head's a mess when, perfect timing, Logan messages me. The kids got your gifts, they're over the moon. Feel like coming to see them? My thoughts veer, I finally grin, sure. 16 after 7 or 8 hours of driving I reach a tiny mountain hamlet in the next county. Remote, hard to access, nothing but muddy footpaths and tumble-down shacks. I twist through narrow lanes and park outside a courtyard. A swarm of kids rushes me, arms tied around my waist. Sister Luna, you finally came. We missed you so much. Why'd you stay away so long? When I was 15, Dad shipped me off to a swap-themed reality show that parked me in this shabby village for 2 months. That was my first brush with real poverty. The kids stared wide-eyed at the cameras, at my suitcase, curious, searching. At 15, looking into their innocent eyes, a sudden ache swelled in me. Soon I'd leave, and so would the colossal production crew. Some alumni rode that exposure to influencer stardom, some scored spotlight gigs, while these kids would still be here. Just like kid me, waiting glittery-eyed for parents who never came back. Later I funneled every cent I could into the village, built an academy, dorms, donated books. Mom and Dad's allowance was huge anyway, I didn't blow it on clubs or bags, I poured it here. If I couldn't wait for their love, maybe these children could greet a brighter future. The boy I swapped places with, Logan, got funded through college, now he's back as principal and teacher. He steps out, shakes my hand, smiled gentle and refined. Long time no see. The kids have missed you. Long time no see. I smile, ruffling little heads. I missed them too. I lead them inside, drawing, reading, writing, finding a calm I hadn't felt in ages. When my parents ignored me, I'd sneaked off to visit. After marriage, though, I'd taken sterling money, so I played obedient wife, and Adrian hated me running loose. I hadn't been back in forever. I'd planned to leave after a couple of days, but heavy rain starts drumming. I stay to help Logan settle the kids, some we walk home, others we tuck into the dorms. In the quiet dorm, a tiny scholar sleeps across my lap. Logan, eyes lowered, suddenly whispers, "Thank you. These kids' lives are so much better." I laugh. No big deal. I'm the one who feels better. Helping them helps me. I don't trust anyone's love, yet children's eyes feel pure. Every visit brings me peace. Logan thanks me again. Ernest, you funded 2 dorm blocks and paid to have the mountain road paved. Getting in and out is way easier now. A lot of kids aren't left behind children anymore. I start to wave it off, no need. I froze for a second. I didn't. I only bankrolled 2 school dormitories, I never paid to have the mountain road paved. The day I asked Adrian for a divorce, I'd walked away with nothing but the $20 million exit purse. I donated most of it, piece by piece. Where would I have found the cash to pave a road? Logan blinked, equally lost. Then, from the doorway, came a voice so low it was almost a whisper. It was me. I donated. 17 rain lashed the windows of the quiet country cottage. Adrian's black hoodie was soaked, a dark stain spreading across his chest. I reached for a tissue to blot the water, but he caught my wrist. Listen to me. I didn't come here to stalk you. I knew. I stared at the floor tiles. His fingers circled my wrist, trembling. The tremor shot straight to my head and made the room spin. Some instinct told me what was coming, and every nerve screamed run, yet he held me tighter. You can feel it, can't you? That I like you, Luna? My name on his tongue sent a shiver down my spine. He turned me, hands firm on my shoulders, forcing me to meet his eyes. They burned. I'm saying it again, for real, I like you, Luna. I want to date you, to be with you, not some boardroom strategic marriage. The last word fell and color flooded his cheeks. I've liked you since we were kids. Back then you ignored everyone, only cash and gifts bought a tiny smile. I told myself you were vain, so I fought you at every turn, even though I was desperate for you to notice me. When your family hit crisis, I begged Dad to rescue Lou so I could marry you. That first night I wasn't drunk, I faked it. My head snapped up, he faked that too? His flush deepened. Yeah, too embarrassed to admit it. Later, every time we argued, only money calmed you down. I assumed you were materialistic, so I never confessed. Not until your father's bankruptcy, when he told me to my face, just pay me, I don't care where she goes, did I realize how broken your family was. I dug into your parents' records. I'm sorry for prying, but I needed to understand you. When you came back, I hesitated, you always look ready to bolt for a check, but I still wanted to try. Let's start with dating. I love you, wife. Luna. He ran out of breath, face scarlet. My heart pounded so hard Serena later asked what on earth I'd been thinking. Me, only Eleanor Sterling lost in this deal. Because, right then, I no longer wanted to leave Adrian. The rain eased, pale light crept across the sky. I reached out and threaded my fingers through his. I might not know how to love, but I want to try loving you. Adrian nodded fiercely. Yes. 18 He dipped his head to kiss me, and something niggled, like I'd forgotten an appointment. Before I could grab the thought, the kids woke in a whirlwind, rushing in to call him Big Brother, laughing and shoving, and the detail slipped away completely. It only resurfaced when we pulled into the Sterling estate and my phone buzzed. Serena, we're doomed, Caden found out AAA. Did Adrian rat us out? My mind exploded. I whirled on him. You knew I'm not pregnant. Adrian's mouth twitched. Figured it out that same night. And you still played along? I panicked, I was scared you'd bolt, so I said yes. Blame Caden, he called it a stalling tactic. Otherwise Serena would grab some boy toy and run off with his baby. Knowing Serena, yeah. Adrian laughed, lifting me from the car. No baby yet? We'll just go home and make one. Adrian. Come on, call me husband and I'll buy you diamonds. Epilogue, I was sketching a new storybook for the kids when Serena's frantic call blasted through. Girl, can you roll up to Harborview with some cash? I'm skipping the country, sponsor me? TSK. Back then Serena married Caden on a whim, now she couldn't shake him. I actually pitied her. I grabbed a wad of cash and some jewelry and raced to the airport. Typical, the night before, Adrian and I had bickered over whether I loved him or the village kids more. My charity work ate so many of my hours. I told him it was big love. He sulked and picked a fight. I decided he was nuts and locked him out of the bedroom. Post-confession, I never caved first, he always crawled back to apologize. So of course, next morning, fate planted us at the same terminal. Adrian had just seen off foreign clients when he spotted me sneaking past Caden's bodyguards, suitcase full of cash. The famously volatile crown prince went red-eyed for the 1000th time. One fight and you're running again. You still don't love me. Wait, honey, let me explain. Tears rolled down his face, his eyes were swollen. I ranked below a bunch of kids and a stack of dollars. He really snapped, had his secretary cut me a sky-high check on the spot, and stormed off. I chased after him. He was genuinely mad this time, a man still needs coaxing. Of course I love you, husband, I do. And so, the sentence Adrian had waited forever to hear arrived in the most dramatic, ridiculous way possible. Price, Caden recognized us mid-airport spectacle. Serena, you traitor choosing dick over your BFFA. The end, completed.